Well, to discuss this, we're joined in Islamabad by Ramesh Singh Arora. He's a PMLN politician and member of the Pakistan Sikh Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee. In New Delhi is Sreeram Chaulia. He's an executive director of the Center for Global Governance and Policy at Jindal School of International Affairs. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. And let me bring in Sreeram Chaulia now, because even though Ramesh doesn't want to mix politics with religion, others are mixing politics with religion, and they're questioning the intentions of the Pakistanis. You have members of the BJP saying that the Pakistanis are not doing this for the cleanest of reasons. Is that fair?
I think so. You see, when it comes to state policy, there has been a long track record of Pakistan harboring and sheltering extremist groups which wish to break up India. So be it the Kashmir separatists or be it the Sikh separatists who call themselves the Khalistani movement. So there has been, historically that link. Pakistan has sponsored these extremists against India. So there is a great deal of concern here, especially among the security elites, that opening up this corridor could lead to potential ideological brainwashing of some misguided Sikh youth to try and revive the Khalistani movement, which used to be in its heydays in the 1980s and 1990s. And we know that there are still some elements relating to this separatist cause who are based there.
Okay,
and,
so
recently there have been some terrorist attacks in Amritsar on the Indian Punjab.
Okay, certainly, right? Okay, so let me try and understand this fully.
Spiritual diplomacy, we see value in it and we support it.
Right.
But at the same time, there are major caveats with regard to security, and given the unsettled disputes between the two countries, which are much larger and geopolitical in nature and cannot be resolved simply by opening up a corridor like this.
Okay, so let me be absolutely clear what you're saying here before I pose it to Ramesh. What you're saying is that there's a possibility that you might have Sikh pilgrims who cross over to Pakistan to visit the White Temple, and the Pakistanis in some way are going to turn them or radicalize them in order to revive a Khalistan separatist movement, or maybe even conduct terror attacks in India. Is that what you believe?
I think there is a distinct threat of that, because we have seen the diaspora militant groups among the Sikhs mobilizing lately and saying that we need a 2.0, a second version of Khalistan to restart. There is this whole notion of 2020. There is a vision for restarting the secessionism.
Okay, got it.
I think
India let me go to Ramesh and get a response.
Corridor, but I think we are going to be very, very cautious about it.
Mr. Chaulia?
Yeah, no, I think, see, our friend is clearly an establishment Sikh who has been recognized in the Pakistani polity, which is dominated by the military. So I can understand his sentiments and where he's coming from. But it's clearly a misguided view, in my opinion, because the condition of the Sikh minorities in Pakistan has not been so admirable at all. In fact, their numbers have been declining over time. There have been a series of targeted assassinations against Sikhs. They have reduced in number. Historically, they used to be over 50,000. They're now down to below 30,000. And, across the Pakistani polity, there have been pressure on Sikhs to convert to Islam. So although our friend belongs to one of the leading parties there, so therefore he has to adopt this position. As far as the diaspora goes, in a way, he's providing a soft justification for the secessionist movement, which we consider terrorists, because he's saying that there are grievances and therefore people are mobilizing, which is the official line. And that is all the more reason why we are going to be cautious about Kartarpur.
But perhaps
because there are Sikhs like him. Who is Gopal Singh Chawla? Who is Harmeet Singh Happy? Why are these guys finding shelter and official sanction of the Pakistani military establishment?
Mr. Chaulia,
he needs to respond to these, because these are internationally prescribed terrorists who are finding shelter there.
Okay, let's forget the...
Doesn't mean it's going to go away, and frankly, there's no justification for terrorism.
Can we forget the diaspora just for a second? And I want to focus on the two countries right now and their policies and how they're trying to sort of calibrate their policy moving forward. Is it a fair analysis, Mr. Chaulia, that even though Modi supports it, he can't support it too much, this corridor, ahead of elections? Because if he shows too much warmth towards the Pakistanis ahead of elections, he loses his hardline nationalist Hindu base. Is that a fair political analysis?
I don't think it's about hardline nationalist Hindu base. In my view, you see, Indians have become sick and tired of the policy of engagement by India, where we take the first step and then we are rebuffed. So just go back to 2015 December. Prime Minister Modi flew into Lahore and met Nawaz Sharif, the then Prime Minister of Pakistan, extended a hand of friendship. And within a few weeks, we had a major attack on one of our military bases. And therefore, we had to call off the whole thing from across the border. It happened from across the border. So Indians, most of us believe that there is a history of backstabbing whenever we have shown interest in settling disputes. And therefore, more wary, once burnt, twice shy. That is our situation now. And we are going to be, whether there is election or not, I think Mr. Modi is quite realistic about the prospects of peace, especially under a leader like Imran Khan, who we believe is a puppet of the military there and will not be interested in any long-term settlement, because peace means end of the business for the military and the military establishment there.
And it's good. Okay, Sreeram Chaulia, come in.
Yeah, I'll only say that our friends in Pakistan, are spinning a good yarn about genocide and persecution of Sikhs in India. I think this is a very outdated concept. The Khalistani movement and the violence and the counterinsurgency happened more than 30 years ago. There is no repression since then. India is a democracy. It has far greater freedom for religious minorities than you have in Pakistan itself. You're seeing the Baloch insurgency. You're seeing, the Ahmadiyas and the Qadianis and the Sikhs themselves, who are actually being reduced from a sizable numbers to nothing. It's a kind of extinction. There is an extinction agenda that's ongoing, and it's a genocidal campaign. So there's no question. See, the ones who are talking about minority rights should look inward. The whole world knows that this is a hotbed of terrorism and extremist Islam, and they need to control those things before they preach to India, which is rated as far superior in all forms of freedom of expression.
Gentlemen, I want to take a breath.
Minorities,
I want to take a breath and I want to take a beat here. Okay, I want to take a beat here, and I want
the fact.
We are willing to take 2 steps forward if India takes 1. And this is the step that we have taken without expecting anything from India, because we believe that this is in the interest of the Sikh community, which is a minority.
First, hand over terrorist masterminds. That step is enough. We don't need 2 steps. Just take 1 step. Stop sponsoring terrorism.
Well, this is, again, the recent incidents that took place in Karachi, where terrorists attacked.
Please don't live in denial, because the more you are in denial about your image and your problem as a sponsor of terrorism, the more you are digging your own grave.
Stop terrorism in Kashmir. So then you can talk that Pakistan should stop.
State terrorism has repressed your own minorities, and you need to wake up and face the reality, which is that you have been ostracized. You have been ostracized by the international community.
Chaulia,
you are facing pressure from all sides.
You made your point, sir.
Rasul,
I apologize. Rasul, I apologize. We're completely out of time, but we got the gist of what you had to say there. Yes.
What I was saying was that the terrorists mastermind who attacked the Chinese consulate in Karachi is getting treatment.
It's a Hafiz Saeed, and he is your house guest.
Okay, listen. We're going to go down this rabbit hole, and I don't have time.
You are the largest sponsor of terrorism in the world.
I appreciate you all
both in Afghanistan and in India. Stop that, and you will move forward.
Chaulia,
we can have peace.
Rasul Baksh Rais and Ramesh Singh Arora. It's been a pleasure having you all on the Newsmakers. Thanks again.